Hi, this is Jo from Jo Creates. I want to talk to you today about yarn overs. What's a yarn over? Well, it's something which creates an intentional or otherwise hole in your knitting, a bit like these ones here, which I have done intentionally, even though they look accidental. It's a bit like a ladder, only unlike a ladder, it's absolutely fixed in place and it won't run. So it's not a drop stitch, it's actually a hole in your knitting. It's quite a good way of creating lace patterns. So in this one here, this scarf that I'm making, as you can see, just about, although it is a bit dark, I'm using yarn overs to create a pattern. Yarn overs are often used in lace knitting to create holes which create the pattern. Here's another example, just to show you when they're used intentionally what they look like. We've got here another shawl that I'm making, and I'm using yarn overs in this pattern here, as you can see, to create this mesh pattern here. So it is a nice and interesting pattern, and if you're intending to use it, then it's great. Of course, there are times when you've done it accidentally, so I'm just going to show you what that might look like. So I'm just knitting along here. As you can see, I've got the yarn behind because I'm knitting. It's dead simple, but oh, doorbell's rung, phone's gone, whatever, and I've picked up my knitting again after putting it down, and accidentally, in all the kerfuffle, my yarn has come round to the front and I haven't noticed, so I just carry on knitting. And what that'll have done is created this yarn over here. As you can see, this kind of slanty stitch with a hole underneath it, just here. So the best thing to do, if you've noticed that as you go along, is just take out the stitch, or as many stitches as to get back to it. Pull your yarn back round to the back, and then you're ready to knit again, as you were before, across the rest of the row. So as I mentioned before, there are going to be times when you're intending to do a yarn over, so I'm going to show you how to do it intentionally. So I'm going to start, because I'm knitting, with my yarn behind the work here. If I wanted to make a yarn over in this space here, it's very simple. I'm simply going to move my yarn around the needle, and then I'm going to knit as normal, like that. Oops. Yeah. And there you go. I've now created a yarn over intentionally. It was exactly the same as when I did it accidentally, but I intended to do it. And as you can see, it's created an extra stitch just here, which I didn't have before. So normally a yarn over is followed by some kind of decrease stitch. So I'm going to do that again, but with a decrease stitch. So I'm going to go yarn over, and I'm going to knit the next 2 stitches together, like this. The reason being that will then create you the yarn over that you want, but it won't have added an extra stitch to your total piece of work, because we've done decrease. We've then knitted 2 stitches together to create 1 stitch afterwards. So you'll have your yarn over, but you won't have an extra hole in it. Your pattern will tell you exactly what you need to do, what kind of decrease stitch that you need to do before or after your yarn over, depending on what your pattern says. I'm just going to show you now what it looks like on the other side. So I'm just going to purl back across to where I've made that yarn over, because at the moment it'll be loose and it could accidentally fall out and just look a mess. I want to secure that in place now with a purl stitch. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to purl into it as if it was a normal stitch. I'll just do this next one as well so I can show you. And that's it. As you can see, it's now secured. It's a proper hole. It's fixed in place. It's not going anywhere. You can twist it whatever you want with it, really. It is a stitch and it is in place. So just to show you the other side. And that's what it looks like. That's your yarn over. Simple as that.